Welcome to the Prepper Almanac. Thank you for joining us today. It is deeply appreciated. In today's video we are going to discuss essential items preppers should be hoarding before the collapse. And if I give you value in today's video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it. And feel free to share the video with others. It helps me out. And let me know your thoughts about the video in the comments section below. What are some items that you think you should start hoarding for a major, cataclysmic disaster? Water? Absolutely. Food? Also absolutely. Ammo? For sure. First aid equipment? Definitely. Gasoline? Yep. The list goes on. All of those things are incredibly valuable items to hoard for survival, and you can probably think of about 10 or 20 other types of survival supplies as well. We even have other videos on the channel about this topic if you want to check them out as well. With that being said, there are countless ordinary items, things people use every day that are relatively cheap and can be used for survival. The wisest among the prepper community are already stockpiling them. Here are some items that everyone, including you, should start hoarding today. And remember, when going through this list, think of what items you can barter with as well. Please note that these are in alphabetical order and not order of importance. Let's get the discussion going. Alcohol. Storing alcohol isn't just about having a stiff drink when the world turns upside down. High-proof spirits can also be used for disinfecting wounds, starting fires, and bartering. Small, sealed bottles of liquor might become a valuable commodity in a prolonged survival situation. Batteries. All kinds of batteries apply here. You can keep them all stored in a container or cardboard box that you set aside in storage or in the utility room. In a true grid-down disaster, when you're relying primarily on battery-powered electronics, you'll likely be surprised at how quickly you use them up. This should serve as a good motivator to stockpile as much as you can. Make it a rule to buy an extra pack of batteries each week. You'll also be surprised by how quickly your stockpile grows. And you can create a makeshift heater as a disaster scenario, by placing batteries in a metal container, like an empty tin can, and connecting them with a wire. You can create a simple, albeit limited, heater to provide warmth in a small space. Blankets. You'll be happy you had plenty of blankets on hand if the power goes out during the winter. Wool blankets and quilts in particular will be effective for keeping you warm. Cotton works too, but also does a generally poor job of wicking away water. Also, don't forget to hoard pillows and sleeping bags. Bobby pins. There are a ton of uses for bobby pins in a survival situation, so they are among the very last items that you will want to throw away. Examples of what you can use bobby pins for in a survival situation include as a DIY money clip, as fishing hooks, as a lock pick, to short-circuit various electronics, zipper repair, clothing repair, emergency sewing needle, or for its intended purpose, to keep hair back. Books. All kinds of books are applicable here: novels, books you enjoy, cookbooks, non-fiction books, how-to guides, survival guides, children's books, and other books you just enjoy. When the grid goes down, you won't have access to Kindle or anything like that, and you'll be forced to rely on physical copies. Survival books, cookbooks, and how-to guides will be useful, while novels can help pass the time and boost morale. If you want to check out survival books, we have some links in the description below. Chapstick. Unless if you want to deal with chapped lips after a major disaster, then chapstick will be a very important item to store for disaster. You can also use chapstick as a small, makeshift torch. Just light it up with a match or a lighter or any other fire-starting devices, used as a protective barrier to protect exposed skin from harsh weather, or you can use it to help soothe discomfort from small wounds such as scrapes or cuts. Just apply lightly to the affected area. Those are just a couple of examples of uses for chapstick. Coffee filters. Besides their obvious intended use for making coffee, you can also use coffee filters for many other things. Water coffee filters can be used to filter debris and sediment from water, making it safer to drink. They can be used as a pre-filter before boiling or using water purification tablets. Use coffee filters as makeshift bowls or plates for serving food. They can also be used as liners for food containers to absorb moisture or to separate layers of food. Coffee filters can be used as a makeshift bandage or dressing in an emergency. They are also good for cleaning wounds or applying ointments. Coffee filters are highly flammable and can be used as tinder to start a fire. They can also be used to protect the flame in windy conditions. Use coffee filters as disposable cleaning cloths for wiping surfaces or cleaning utensils. They can also be used to strain cooking oils or liquids. Crayons. If you have children, you can never have enough crayons. Just imagine how bored they will be without their electronics. Crayons will help, at least a little. Plus, they are very flammable and can be used as makeshift candles. Making makeshift candles using crayons is a simple and effective way to create light in an emergency. Here's how you can do it. Gather your materials. You will need crayons, a heat-resistant container, such as a small metal can, a wick, cotton string or twine, and a heat source, such as a stove or campfire. Prepare the container. Place the container on a stable surface and ensure it is clean and dry. Prepare the crayons. Remove the paper wrapping from the crayons and break them into smaller pieces. The smaller the pieces, the faster they will melt. Insert the wick. Cut a piece of wick slightly longer than the height of the container. Place one end of the wick in the center of the container, ensuring it touches the bottom. Melt the crayons. Place the crayon pieces in the container. You can mix different colors to create interesting effects. Melt the crayons using a heat source. Be cautious and use low heat to prevent the crayons from catching fire. Stir the mixture. Use a stick or a chopstick to stir the melted crayons to ensure an even consistency. Set the wick. Hold the wick in place using a stick or pencil placed across the top of the container. Ensure the wick remains centered. Let it cool. Allow the crayon wax to cool and solidify around the wick. This may take some time, depending on the temperature and the amount of wax. Trim the wick. Once the wax is hardened, trim the wick to a suitable length, around 1/4 inch, above the wax surface. Light the candle. Your makeshift crayon candle is now ready to be lit. Use a lighter or matches to light the wick. Crayon candles are not as efficient or long-lasting as traditional candles, but they can provide light in an emergency situation. Dryer lint. Dryer lint is very flammable, just like crayons. It's also easy to collect as well and can be a fast and efficient way to get a fire going. What's more, you can easily collect lint in Ziploc bags for ease of storage. Duct tape. The humble duct tape is surprisingly versatile. Not only is it great for quick fixes around the house, but in a disaster, it can be used for patching up tears in your clothing, tent or sleeping bag, creating makeshift bandages, or even for securing splints. Its strong adhesive nature means it can also be used as a simple tool for catching insects or trapping small game. There is another video on the channel titled 50 Survival Uses for Duct Tape for a Prepper where we do a deeper dive on the uses of duct tape if you want to check that video out. Egg cartons. Egg cartons can be very valuable items for maintaining small gardens. They will certainly be more space efficient in contrast to other kinds of gardens, while also being easy to transport. All you need to do is pour some soil into each compartment and then plant a little seedling. You can also use paper egg cartons as composting for your larger gardens. Speaking of eggs, we have also done a video on the channel titled 29 Ways a Prepper Can Use Eggshells Off-Grid in a Unique Way if you also want to check that one out. Garbage bags. Garbage bags have dozens of uses, not only in everyday life but in a critical survival situation as well. You can use it to keep your supplies dry, make a tourniquet, collect rainwater, block the sun, make a pillow, fix leaks, make a rope, and so much more. Glass bottles. The biggest advantage to storing glass bottles, as you can probably tell, is that you can use it later to store more water or other drinks, although it may be advisable to clean them out before doing so. You can also use glass bottles to store other items such as medications, to get a fire going by filling with water and then using it to reflect the sunlight, or you can break them apart and then use the sharp glass as blades. If you are like the video so far, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Carrying on. Grocery bags. One of the best uses for grocery bags will be to collect water. What you can do is take a grocery bag in good condition, without holes, and then use it to cover up some green branches or brush at the start of the day. Come back 24 hours later, and you should see that a small sip's worth of drinking water has collected in the bag. You'll just need to make sure that the plants you select are not poisonous in any way, so be extra careful. You can also use grocery bags to dispose of human waste, for storing any fruit or vegetables you forage, to mark a trail, or to help keep your gear dry from the wind. Newspaper. The most obvious survival use for newspaper, and the use that most people are aware of, is to use it as a fire starter. It's not at all uncommon for people to ignite the edges of a newspaper with a lighter or match, and then place the paper underneath some small pieces of wood and other kindling to build a fire. But another of the many uses for newspaper is to use it as insulation in a shelter, or to use it as makeshift toilet paper if you have to as well. Pain relievers. Pain relievers such as aspirin are essential for keeping fevers and headaches to a minimum. You can even apply pain relievers directly to scrapes, stings, or burns as well to help reduce the pain. Here are some other OTC medicines you should gather. Antihistamines, these can help relieve allergy symptoms, such as sneezing, itching, and congestion. They can also be used to treat minor allergic reactions and insect bites. Antacids, these can help relieve heartburn, indigestion, and upset stomach. They are particularly useful in emergencies when access to regular meals may be limited or irregular. Antidiarrheal medication, these can help relieve diarrhea, which can be caused by stress, contaminated food or water, or changes in diet. Laxatives, these can help relieve constipation, which can occur due to changes in diet, dehydration, or stress. Hydrocortisone cream, this can help relieve itching, irritation, and inflammation caused by insect bites, rashes, or minor skin irritations. Cough and cold medications, these can help relieve symptoms of the common cold, such as coughing, sneezing, and congestion. Paper clips. Besides their use in better organizing files and papers, you can also use paper clips as makeshift fishing hooks, as clothes hangers, as a finger or toe splint, or as shims for repair mechanics. If you think about it, paper clips are basically durable twist ties. Here are a few other uses. Sewing needle, straighten out a paper clip and sharpen the tip. Use it as a needle for sewing clothes or gear. Safety pin, use a paper clip as a replacement for a safety pin to secure clothing or gear. Zipper pull, if a zipper pull breaks, a paper clip can be used as a temporary replacement. Trail marker, bend a paper clip into a flag shape and use it as a trail marker to help you find your way back to camp. Fire starter, use a paper clip to create sparks by striking it against a rock or another metal surface. Use the sparks to ignite tinder and start a fire. Pencils. Writing utensils such as pens and paper will be very important to store, in addition to paper. Another use for pencils is that when they are broken, the graphite inside is exposed. Here's a fun fact that most people don't know: when you bring the exposed graphite of a pencil into contact with your car battery and cable, it will turn red hot and then eventually burst into flames to quickly get a fire going. Salt. Salt is another common household item that can become invaluable in a survival situation. Aside from its obvious uses in food preservation and flavoring, it can also be used for cleaning, preserving hides, and even as a basic antiseptic for minor wounds. Shoelaces. Besides your actual shoes, your shoelaces can really help you out in a survival situation as well. For example, you can use them to make traps and snares, to help build shelter, to fashion a splint to a fractured arm or a leg, and so on. In fact, if you think about it, you really should be able to use your own shoelaces for just about anything you could use paracord or smaller strands of rope for. The lesson? Even if you do end up throwing your old shoes or boots away, at the very least you should save the shoelaces, as they could definitely come in handy later. Shoes. Don't throw your shoes away after they get torn or old. While most people will throw away their old shoes, most of the time those old shoes will still be fully functional. Why throw them away when you can just set them aside for storage should disaster strike? After all, the protection of your feet should be of paramount importance when things get bad, and other people know this as well. This is why your old shoes could become valuable barter items when the grid goes down. Soap bars. Soap is an essential commodity for maintaining hygiene and preventing the spread of disease. Especially in disaster situations, cleanliness is paramount to ensure survival, making soap an important item to stockpile. Soap bars are compact, have a long shelf life, and you can easily stockpile them in large quantities. Besides personal hygiene, soap can also be used for washing dishes, clothes, and cleaning wounds. Socks. After cleaning your socks, you can use them as a pre-filter to remove large sediments and particles from water. You can also use socks for storage and to make it easier to carry items. Finally, you can also use socks as a weapon. Just place rocks, stones, pebbles, or spent brass casings in them, tie the end shut with paracord, or your shoelaces, and you can then wield it with deadly force against an attacker. Soda cans. Soda cans fulfill a wide array of different survival uses. You can use them to store water or other beverage or food items. The tab can be shaped into a fishing hook, and the bottom of the can you can polish with chocolate in order to reflect the sunlight and get a fire going if you can hold the can properly and be patient. In addition, you can also use a soda or beer can as a miniature stove as well. Simply cut it open, and then place a candle with a flame going inside of it. Hold your hands around the can to warm them. Super glue. Super glue is not just for fixing broken household items. It can also be used to seal up minor wounds in an emergency. It sets quickly, prevents infection, and can buy you some time until proper medical attention can be reached. Tin foil. Tin or aluminum foil truly is among the most versatile of everyday items you can use for survival and disaster preparedness. You can wrap food, such as meat or potatoes, in the foil and then place it in the coals near a fire to bake and cook. You can also use tin or aluminum foil as fishing lures, to signal for help or use as trail markers, to scrub dirty pots and pans, and to remove rust from metal, just scrub directly against the metal. Toilet paper. One of the most essential items to stock up on for a disaster scenario is toilet paper, and for obvious reasons. And not just the paper, but the leftover toilet rolls. What you can do with them is cut and then flatten them out for easier storage. When brought into contact with a flame from a lighter or a match, they will light up very easily. Vaseline is immensely useful for two primary reasons. It can be applied to the site of scrapes, stings, or cuts to reduce pain and infection, and it's very flammable so it can be used to help get a fire going quickly. Stockpile both Vaseline and cotton balls together. The Vaseline soaked cotton is an effective way to apply the Vaseline to your scrapes, and can also be lit up quickly with a match or a lighter when it's pouring rain outside. We also did another video on the channel called 31 Crafty Prepper Uses for Vaseline, where we do a deeper dive on uses for Vaseline if you want to check that video out too. Vinegar. White vinegar, especially, has many uses in a disaster situation. It can be used for cleaning, as a simple disinfectant, and even as a food preservative. And, if you're growing your own food post-disaster, vinegar can be used as a natural herbicide. Zip ties. These are light, easy to store, and have a myriad of uses. From fastening shelter material together, fixing a broken bag strap, to tying down gear, zip ties are a practical item to hoard. They can also be used as makeshift handcuffs if security becomes an issue. Conclusion. The next time you think about throwing away any of the above items, think twice. While it's not like you should never, ever throw away any of these things, at the very least, you should be stockpiling them. As we wrap up today's video, if you have any questions or if there are any topics that you would like discussed in the future, let us know in the comments section below. We love to get video ideas from the community. And let us know what you think of today's video as well. We always appreciate input. Be sure to like today's video and subscribe to the channel to learn more about prepping, and share the video with others that may have a passion for prepping or are curious about prepping in general. In addition, to support the channel, feel free to click the thanks button below. And lastly, we have put some links to some prepper supplies that you might want to check out in the description below. Thanks for watching the Prepper Almanac.